What up, Houston Astro fans? Oh, October is right around the corner. That means playoff baseball. That means that the AL West is almost ours, but
Hmm.
that also means a lot of questions. You have, of course, your roster, your lineup, who makes the playoff rotation. We're going to break it all down, give our opinions, debate, and all that fun stuff. So we'll look at the pitchers. Um, as of right now, your active roster. I mean, there's of course some names here. I guess we'll start with the rotation. Framber,
Are
easily.
we going in order or are we just naming?
I would say
Because
let's do order because I think that's going to play a key part.
I personally believe it'll be something like because we're going to the wild card is probably why Kikuchi will get the third spot. So I'm looking at Framber, Hunter, Kikuchi, JV 1 through 4, right?
Yeah.
And just because I think they like Blanco a little bit more, Blanco would be your fifth, and Arrighetti can clean some shit up.
Yeah, that would.
So that's six, right? We get 14
Yeah.
players. That's six.
Yeah.
And then you have your obvious big three bullpen: four, Nares, Abreu, Presley, Hader. So now we're at 10. And this is
Hmm.
where the rest of this shit gets tricky. So you got four spots. I'm going to give the first one, in my opinion, to Caleb Ort.
Boy, right here, 63.
He spelled his name dumb.
That man is
He is kind
cold.
of dumb. Well, I'm going to give it to Ort for two reasons. For one, yesterday he was throwing pitches I didn't know he had in the bag. And then two, he could reach back and grab 100 whenever he wants it.
Yeah.
Three, a lot of the league don't have experience to get him against him because he's fairly new to the big time. And he's big as shit. He's a little bit physically imposing, and I kind of like that. It makes us look good. So that's 11.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go 12. I'm gonna go Brian King
Number 74.
because they trust him. Like he's, I
Yeah.
mean, he sucks. Like he came in last night for Ort, and he gave up the runs that Ort put on base. So I mean, they didn't make me feel any better, but I still like him there. And then I've been a fan of Seth. It comes down to like Seth Martinez and Taylor Scott. I think they're both gonna make it.
Well, Taylor
Which,
Scott's hurt right now, 15-day IL.
well,
So,
that means he could potentially make the playoffs, even though he's pitched like shit since he sold his number to Neris. He might be my last pitcher. He did, bro. He sold
yeah.
that number and he hasn't done a damn thing right.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I
So
mean,
I'm gonna take Seth Martinez as my 13th, and then Taylor Scott as 14.
you don't want Caleb Ferguson?
Man, not really. I mean, it really comes down to Ferguson and Scott. Like, who do you want to sit there? Because if I'm doing good, I don't have to play either one of you.
Yeah. You don't bring up Forrest Whitley?
Nope.
You don't bring up Montero?
If you're gonna bring on Montero, he should be pitching in the majors right now.
Yeah, it don't sound like that because you. This would have been a perfect time. Taylor Scott goes down. They brought Seth Martinez up, so to me it sounds like okay, they're gonna leave Montero down there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, Caleb Ferguson sucks. We already got one Caleb on the team.
And he's also like he was. It was his call up year too. He's getting experience. Like you started out fairly decent, and then shit kind of just went south for you. And I honestly, bro, I'm playing for a championship. I ain't got time for you to figure it out right now.
Yeah,
So there's your 14 pitchers. That was fairly easy to me. Now you just have to refine it.
I mean they did ask Justin Verlander about his injury. He said he thinks he came back too quick, um, but he knew he had to get reps in. He said
Mm-hmm.
that he understands whatever decision the team makes for him, whether it's rotation, whether it's starter, he's okay with because he knows that there was guys putting in work when he was injured. He saw it and he's like, I don't want to step on toes because I know these dudes have been coming out. He's talking about Hunter Brown, Arrighetti, and them. So it's interesting, but I feel like him being the legend of Justin Verlander, probably his last year with you, unless he just drastically takes a major cut and stuff and comes back cheap, cheap, then you're gonna probably go out there with him and see what you can get.
All right, let's keep it up. Let's be honest, right? he had that game where he gave up the 8 runs, and that was fucking bad.
Yeah.
But then when you're falling, sometimes you can't stop it. But like these other games, he starts terrible, like where he looks bad in the first inning, but then he gets it together, right? Like he looked good yesterday for about 3 innings. And my point is like I'm willing to risk you a start in the playoffs because if you don't fumble that in the first inning, then you're probably going to give me a pretty quality start. And I'm willing to find that out because if not, then I'm jerking your ass out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's just a starter. Because like Blanco don't look any better today, bro.
No. I'm a little more worried with Blanco's walks today than I am with Verlander. At least Verlander can get some ground out.
Exactly. Arrighetti is the same way. It's like more likely than not you're going to do pretty well, but then you have those days where you forget your command and then you're just no use to me. I'm starting Verlander number 4 if I run the team personally.
Ooh. So what, are we putting Arrighetti behind him?
No, putting Blanco there. Arrighetti's going to the bullpen for me.
Okay.
Because like I'm actually thinking about running the 4-man rotation. So for instance, if you run a 4-man rotation and you get to Verlander at 4 and he sucks, when I go by the next go around, I might start Arrighetti or Blanco instead of Verlander. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with changing those 4 spots out. But the first one's gonna go to Verlander. And I think the second one would probably go to Blanco if you had to make the change. 2, Arrighetti's probably younger, and I mean Blanco. They don't have a problem warming up coming out of the bullpen, so I'm not worried about that. I worry about Verlander having to warm up to pitch 1 inning.
They're men of nature. They know what they do before games.
Creatures of habit, yeah.
Yeah, nature of habit. There we go. Okay, see.
Creatures.
All right. Well, catchers. I mean, of course, you got your 2 catchers you're going to take with you.
When you get 14, and I pretty much got this shit sewed up. You got Altuve, Yordan, Tucker, Bregman, Yonner, Caratini, Dubon, Myers, Pena, and then you start nitpicking, right? But still, I'm taking Hayward, Big John, Gamel, and Wickham because it gives me backups in the outfield and the infield. It keeps left-handed bats with Hayward and Big John, and Dubon is the number 1 utility. So then you just leave 1 spot. Do you take Gray Kessinger or do you take Chas McCormick?
It's difficult because injury standpoint from the outfield, I really want to take McCormick because the Tucker injury.
I feel like McCormick has to go. He has to be the one to go with us to the playoffs because that's a for sure backup at center field.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody to cover Jake, then you have to rely on Dubon, and I don't want to just do it to Dubon. You know what I mean? So I'm taking Jake. He got my vote. Or Chaz, he got my vote.
I was gonna say I feel like Chaz is the right call because he's been there with us before, so he knows what to do and knows his place at the end of the day. So
I mean, he's coming back from injury, so we're gonna have to figure that out. But I mean,
I'm hoping not to play him. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean,
well,
I'm not gonna lie. If Jake Myers' batting average was about 25 points higher, I would say he had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
His batting average is down a little bit, but the defense he gave us, some of the hits, like yesterday, we were talking shit about him because he popped up on the infield because he got underneath the ball. But I was like, he was trying to get that to the outfield as a sac fly to get that runner home from third. So he understands what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, I'll take it. Like he's just under the ball. It is what it is. Yeah. So if his batting average was better, he'd be a lot better player in our mind, and we would feel more comfortable.
How was Ben Gamel's injury?
I think he was just a bruise, bro. Like by the time the playoffs come, I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
I hope so, because he was on fire.
Let me tell you what it is. That's a blessing from the baseball gods that Gamel got hurt, because it forces you to put Tucker back out there more in right field.
Yeah.
And Tucker was on fire yesterday. It's playing out in our favor, bro. I'm telling you.
It's working
We're
out.
gonna win a World Series. I had a dream about it.
Oh, so he fractured his left fibula.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! You're not making the playoff roster. Chaz and Kessinger are probably gonna make it.
So they said that they're gonna determine he's wearing a soft brace over his left knee. He's still sore, but they're gonna wait for it to subside before they can figure it out. But they said that, I mean, from the sounds of it, that he might be able to play.
Do you trust somebody out there running to offer you their best ability on their feet when he's got that shit going on?
Hell yeah, because I know he'll throw his body into the wall again. Because that bat was on fire. I need that shit.
I'm a fan of Gamel. I told you he reminds me of Reddick.
There's just something about when him and Hayward came to the team and added those extra little embers we needed. I was like, oh, okay. The Hector Neris in the bullpen, and then
You know how I always call some players the Walmart version of a player?
Yeah.
It feels like Hayward was giving me Michael Brantley vibes when he was in left field for them 3 games. Because he was making good plays and he was hitting the ball. Putting it in play. I was like, okay, that's pretty good, bro. Like, there's a spot here for you. And that's what Brantley did for us.
Yeah. He doesn't. So they said Ben Gamel is walking with a brace but no crutches. So we're just gonna have to play that right.
If you look at him, he looks like he really don't give a shit, and he would play. So,
I mean, McCormick still had a fractured hand, so he's playing catch with Joe Espada. They're gonna figure out when he can swing a bat. Ben Gamel has that. I mean, you got what, about 2 weeks?
something like that.
Something like that. I mean, you may miss the first, even if you miss the first playoff round, you might be able to come back. I mean, they might rest both of them then and save them for the long run, which then that means, like we said, Kessinger probably gets in, and you'll probably roll with what you have right here. So Salazar probably gets in, maybe.
No. I don't fucking need him.
Dude, his name.
I'm taking as many of those other guys as I can because like Wickham. I don't want to necessarily play you, but I know you could probably play anywhere on the infield.
Yeah.
And Singleton, you're there mostly to hit.
Big Bad John, the best first baseman.
This year, maybe he's the best first baseman we had this year. He was clutch yesterday. I ain't gonna hate on him.
Nah, he shows up sporadically. I'll say that. I mean, that's a nice way to say it. Kessinger saved the game when Altuve took off his sock and his shoes, and so I'm cool with it. Wickham, I like him, the kid.
Yeah, I like Wickham. I like Wickham way more than I like Kessinger.
Yeah, that's all right. So Framber,
Hunter,
Kikuchi,
JB. That's how I'm gonna play that out.
I mean, we're 5 games ahead in the AL West. We win 2. The Rangers somehow beat Seattle twice. We clinch. I highly doubt the Rangers are going to do that because they suck. So we're probably going to have to wait until we play Seattle, which is going to be even better because then we can clinch on them. But yeah, looks like we're set, ready to go. I feel confident in this team a lot more than I did in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually.
I don't like days off though. That's the problem.
No.
Because the Astros are about as bipolar of a professional sports team as I've ever seen in my life. Fuck, you don't hit nothing. You have 1 hit Tuesday, and then yesterday you had like 17.
Yeah. You look at all the injuries we have. This team gonna be stacked next year.
Yep.
But that's for next year's thing. Anybody got last minute words?
Nah. This is pretty even. We know what's up. We know what we got to do.
Just calm before the storm. start before October. Playoff baseball is almost here. We were scared. We were nervous. It was a little rocky this year with all the injuries again, but they said that people counted them out. They never lost faith. Grinded it out. F the Rangers, and we're out of here. Much love, Houston.